Alright, welcome to the SuperCoach Nuff channel. Having a go at streaming here with our Draft Nuffs. Trying to combine two words there at the same time. Draft, which is going to kick off in about 4 minutes' time. So I've got a bit of activity here. Someone's posted a message. What's the draft order? So from Liam. So if you go to my draft, you'll see the draft order on the right hand side. So maybe I'll just type that in the message in case he's not on the live feed. So on my draft page is listed on the right hand side. Cut spell side. Comment. So maybe I should have a look at the YouTube, see if it's streaming. What if I go to my sort of main channel where I've subscribed to myself like a genius? Yeah, it looks like it's live. Can see myself. That's pretty wicked. Fantastic. Let's go back to the SuperCoach Nuffs page. I don't know why that would be the case. So I am just working with one screen here, so I might be flicking backwards and forwards a bit just to check how things are going on the stream. But let's have a look who's online. So it looks like we've got Steve with #1 draft pick, the Johnson into Haas team. Shane, I messaged him earlier. I know he's ready to go. Liam, hopefully, has worked out the draft order by now. Jaden, the GOAT, welcome. And Matt G, who's been super keen about this for a while. So, fantastic. So, if we get the other three in, that'll work really well too. Oh, hang on, I keep clicking the wrong thing. Maybe I should close that because apparently I should be able to see any chat in the streaming software. But yeah, a couple of minutes. I guess just quickly go over the competition rules. So there's 10 teams. We're selecting a starting. What's happened there? It's gone all haywire. Oh yeah, probably because it's got to be stuck to that now. So it's basically a starting 13, 6 on the bench plus a flex player. So you'll have 14 starting every week. I guess a bit of an NFL style flex. It's going to be interesting to see how that works. So we'll be picking a squad of 20. So this could take a little while. Apologies for anyone who's got better things to do on a Monday night. But we're going to kick off from round 2. That's why we're doing the draft tonight. It is head to head, so it's not overall. So skipping buys just means we won't play in round 13, 16, 19. And so with that, basically it should work out that everyone plays each other twice up to round 22, and then we have a top 5 for the finals. So it'll be like a 2v3, 4v5 sort of, think early 90s Winfield Cup style. And that'll get us through to round 26. And then round 27, when people are resting and stuff, we don't have to stress. So the draft will go in snake order. So pick 1 picks first to 10, and then 10 picks first in round 2, and it snakes back that way. I've got 60 seconds per pick, but hopefully I can change that in-game. And then the advanced settings we probably won't have time to cover. So new reply. No. Can't see the new reply. It's a bit flat. Or was it just my reply maybe? I don't know. No. I don't know how the chat works. That's all right. So the draft setup should start very soon. It's loading up now. Here we go. So there will be about 3 minutes until the first pick. So it just gives everyone a bit of time to get in if there's any technical issues and the like. But I guess, any last minute tweaks to your list, can't really be done. So I haven't really changed it from the the default order. I did want to go in average draft position order, but I was too busy talking and I completely forgot. So that's all right. I do have the ability to pause, which is pretty handy. Do I have the option to change the settings? Like I know sometimes changing the time is useful. Let's see. I don't really know. So the draft order. Yep. So that's just all the picks all the way through. Um, is it my league maybe? That won't let me do it. It just goes back to the draft room. Well, guess what I'm banking on is people, particularly with their first couple of picks, will have an idea of who they want. And then in the middle rounds where we start scrambling a bit, gives you a little bit more time to think about it. um, and then I guess towards the end, if you don't really care who's on your bench, you can just flick it to auto pick and that'll rush through a few of the picks. But yeah, so back to what do we got? 1 minute to go. There you go. I can see a little chat from Matt on the YouTube stream. Uh, I'll just do a bit of a good luck sort of deal. I don't know if I can resize this somehow to fit everything in, but that's okay. I'll just flick back to it momentarily. Maybe between picks. I don't need to look at it too much. But it looks like, I know I was about to say it looks like we're on the clock, but it's the draft will start in 40 seconds. So last minute. Suppose good luck to everyone. This is probably I think this is the most fun bit of the draft leagues is the actual draft itself. Um, I guess if you're into trading and that sort of thing, it's good too. Yeah, I know I like to try and make trade offers. Sometimes I'll do trades just because I get bored with my team, and it can cost you a bit in the long run. But hey, it's all about having fun. So it looks like we've got most people in. Maybe a couple missing. They'll just go to auto draft, I suppose. So that's fine. All right, so we're officially on. So Steve's online, so hopefully we get a pick. So I guess for those that might not have done it before, if you select your player, so I'll just go with Nathan Cleary for example, it'll pop up here that you have to put them in a position. So you don't just click plus and it's added. You do have to hit the position up there. Obviously, when it's my turn, I'll be able to demonstrate that a little bit better. But for now, we're just waiting on Steve to make a move. He might be struggling with finding the. I should have the activity feed on to keep an eye on any chat. I don't know. He's just timing out, I think. There you go. Maybe that was a good excuse for me to make myself pick number one. All right, but it looks like he's gone with Nico Hines automatically. So yeah, I will go with Nathan Cleary. So I select him, and then you'll see it says draft as halfback just above here. So I hit halfback, and Nathan Cleary is locked into my halfback spots. Kalen Ponga and Scott Drinkwater going very quickly because um, Rolling Stone Rocks and Your Mum's Hull are offline. So Shano getting Tom Travojevic with his first pick. Nice one. We've got Mrs. Fiddler on the clock. So gone with Sean Johnson. Yeah, I don't mind that. Looking at that positional um, advantage. So, after Cleary and Hines, he's probably the next best halfback. So, if you don't want to wait around for a halfback lower down the list, you get on and you get the best available in that position. So I guess that's probably the big challenge with this compared to the NFL draft, um, is that you have to make a decision around more positions. With the NFL draft, you've really only got quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs, and tight ends at a sort of um, lesser extent. But obviously, we've got seven. I think it's seven. One, yeah, hookers, front rowers, three, four, five, six. Yeah, seven different positions. The flex can be any of the seven, so no need to stress there. So Poland Mahas has gone with Dylan Brown. So again, another sort of positional advantage type pick. Lane's train must be offline. Already gone with David Fafita, which I don't think is the worst shout, given that this is a marathon, not a sprint. We're not just picking a team for this week. Um, so yeah, so if you can get David Fafita late in round one, it's not the worst shout. So we've got Matt on the board, and so he'll get two picks. He'll get this pick and then the first pick of the next round. So it's sometimes an advantageous spot to be at either end because you can sort of group your picks together and come up with a bit more of a strategy that way. So he's gone double center wing. I like that. That's very interesting. Valentine Holmes, Ruben Garrick. So looking to take some positional advantage in the center wing. I don't hate that. But Lane's train gets Reese Walsh. Pick history. So that's just my pick history. Can I get all teams? Sort of. Oh, round two, round one. They need like a draft board similar to what you get in NFL, so you can sort of see all the patterns of who people are taking. But I don't think there's anything too shocking so far. So Paul my Haas getting Harry Grant with pick 13. I think that's a pretty good shout, actually. Positional advantage. There's probably no greater player with positional advantage than Harry Grant at hooker. So I think that's a pretty good shout. So we've got Lamb on the clock at the moment, pick 14. I feel like we've just got to keep talking. It'd be weird if I'm just staring at the computer screen while this goes on. But not really talking back, I suppose. I can't really see how many people are watching the stream per se, but maybe I haven't set it up right on my end. Big Tino with pick 14. I do like Tino over Payne Haas in draft just because of the dual position flexibility. But I do think Payne Haas is a great pick in saying that. So going with Gutho at fullback. Lovely. Mrs. Fitter, pick 15. Jermaine Osako's gone off the board, so I'm on. All right, fantastic. Ugh, what do we do? Well, I think I'm going to have to go get a fullback before they all run out. So I'm going to get Teddy, lock him in at fullback, and see what Steve wants to do from there. Get some water in. So he's going with Cam Munster. So I was hoping he'd come back around to me and pick 22, 5/8. But no, I'll let Steve have that one. And Homoli Olakwatu pick 21. Fantastic. I think, yeah, so I'm thinking what I'm going to do is a little bit unconventional, perhaps. Scroll down the list. I'm going to throw Ryan Pappenhausen in as the flex play. So double fullback. See if that does us any good. So does it go in the flex? Yeah, it does. Nice. Happy days for that. So I didn't. I must have missed a few. I didn't realize Shane picked up Payne Haas, Greg Marzu, Sarko off the board. Maybe they were just real quick. That's why I didn't realize it was my pick. But DCE, Jermaine Hopgood off the board. So I guess we've probably got to the stage where after this pick, we've got our captain, vice captain type options. We just have to do our best to fill the team. Excuse me. So Shano's gone with Jerome Hughes. Jack Bird. in the second row. Yeah, so interesting one considering he's playing centres this year. But I mean, that dual position could be very handy. And again, based on my round one score for the classic Supercoach, what would I know? It was pretty tragic. Not sure if anyone saw the video um, earlier today, but I'm not even in the top 100,000, which is pretty sad. But I guess it means the only way is up, and that's a good thing. So Adam Fennell Blake. So I guess the last of the sort of elite front rowers is gone. So what do we do there? Do we just wait until the end and grab what we can, or do we try to get a mid-range type option? Don't know. Well, there's still at least 10 picks, I think, till I get a crack, so no need to stress too much. So Mitchell Moses at halfback, yeah, nice. Joey Manu. So I think Matt's going to fill out his centre wing before anything else. It's an interesting move. I don't hate it. Just be interested to see who his fourth one is after Manu, um, Garrick, and Holmes. Pretty sure that was it. So I can see other teams and stuff. So yep, centre wings all there. So Shano's got Hughes, Haas, Turbo. Pretty decent set so far. Lane's Train, Walsh, Gagai, Fafita. So again, for an auto draft team, that's pretty good. DC, Asako, Ponga. So some pretty strong squads already. So with the hammer, nice. And Brian Toto's off the board too. So Latrell, Fanua Blake, and Tino. So loading up on the front row is Liam. Harry Grant, Moses, and Brown. So the Eels halves combo, I like that. Mrs. Fiddler's gone with Gutho, SJ, and Jack Bird, which is probably the biggest sort of surprise so far. But again, his dual position, the Dragons look pretty good on the weekend. So we'll see. Oh, hang on, I forgot the other two. Olaquatu, Hines, and Munster. That's a nice set there from Johnson. And I don't know what's happened there. I wanted the last one, your mum's hole. So Jermaine, Greg Marzi, Scott Drinkwater. So, pretty evenly matched so far, I'd suggest. Polymer Haas has taken Britton Nickera. He's one of my guys. I do like to have him in the team. So a bit flat we didn't get him. Just have a look at the potential options up ahead and which way do we go. Sam Walker at halfback, yeah, nice. Again, trying to get a halfback as best we can. Nick Meaney, the centre wing spot, yep, kicking goals for Melbourne. Killed it against Penrith. The defence was rock solid. So Joe Tarpany's gone. DWZ's gone. Dylan Edwards is gone. So I am on. Cody Walker, wasn't overly convinced by him. And I think there's other options at 5'8" that I'm happy to go with. So I might help myself to a bit of Isaiah Yo, second row. Nice sort of solid base there. Could maybe even do the double with Tohu around the corner. But not sure what Steve's going to do for his two picks. Or do I start loading up a centre wing sort of gun there with Tungo? Don't know. There's a couple of decisions there. Cooler. I think that's how you say his name. I don't really haven't looked in too closely for Manly, but could be good. AJ Brimson, it's centre wing. Is he available in the 5'8" slot as well? That'd be interesting. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do this round is it's very tempting to go with Tohu. Um, another sort of base stat beast type option. But I'm thinking that if I don't go now, I might not get back around to get one of these two hookers. So I'm going to grab Marshall King. It's a toss between him and Cook. I'll just go with Marshall King because I think he's got age on his side. Cook's a little bit older. But, I'll lock him in to my hooker spot. So a couple of South boys getting off the table. So I guess you can tell, yeah, your mum's holes on auto draft getting Campbell Graham. That's a tough one. But Chano going up your Coruscant. So I think, yeah, my gut was right around trying to grab a hooker. I think there might be a few come off in the next couple of rounds. Although surprisingly, people playing around Damien Cook. Like, I don't think he's a bad pick. I just think I slightly wanted Marshall King more. So I thought I would treat myself. RTS going in round 5. Isaac Tungo off the board. Pat Carrigan's gone now that we're auto drafting. So we've got the Carlton drafts at the 5-6 turn. Gone with Taylor May in centre wing. So I think that'd even be the flex spots now. Got a centre wing in it. I mean, they could turn into being some pretty interesting sort of trade pieces, I suppose. If yeah, you want to gun a centre wing, talk to Matt. He'll hook you up. Just quick check on the chat. So Mr. Callio got 800 in Supercoach. So I think I said that to someone else who scraped 800. Don't know if it's actually the same person, but yeah, I can only dream of 800 this week. But yeah, I think it's just one of those weeks where it didn't quite go to plan. But you know, base trust the research and the planning we've done, and the team will come good eventually. So um, yeah, everyone has their day. It just wasn't my day this weekend. So let's see. So we've got Dom Young off the board. Oh, so the Carlton drafts must have picked someone else because I just realised centre wing was Taylor May. I'm being a bit harsh on you there, Matt. I see you. Oh, so see, the hammer went in the fullback. Okay, I see what's happening there. Nice one. Stephen Crichton from the Dogs. Yep. So got a try on the weekend. That was probably just about the highlight of my weekend. Watching that try. Just that little ray of hope for the boys. So Damien Cook finally gets off the board. Pick 55. I think that's a steal. So well done to you, Katrina. Getting him. So Tohu's gone, Scott Sorensen gone, Semi Velamay's gone. I'm not sad about that. So a few nice options here at the second row spot. So I could go Ellie Katoa, could go Cam Murray, could go Bryce Cartwright, even maybe a Corey Horsburgh or Ryan Madison. There's a lot of choices here, so don't know what to do. I guess maybe I've got to get on the Cardi party. I reckon he looks pretty good on the weekend. I don't know if the dogs made him look good or what the case is, but let's go. I just realised the error, mate. But that's okay. Uh, Ellie Katoa off the board. Nice. I don't mind that. Well, since Steve's only got one more pick, I can probably talk about the error, and he's gone with Adam Reynolds anyway as a backup halfback. So I just had a quick look down here. I realised I can get Jacob Preston. I can get Jacob Kiraz, a couple of gun dogs. Would be great to have in the team. But I've just realised I've left myself with one pick, and then probably in the next 16 picks, they'll both go. So it's a toss up on which one I want. But I think because he's probably more likely to come into my classic team, I'm going to get Jacob Preston, treat myself. So I've now got a full second row, which I don't know if that's the best tactics, but pretty happy with that sort of starting second row. So after that, we've got Will Kennedy, Brian Kelly, Luke Brooks, Ronaldo coming off the board. 12 picks. So there's 12 picks to go, and there's 12 picks to Jacob Kiraz. But there's every chance Matt could take Jacob Kiraz because he loves the centre wing pick. So this is probably actually going all right for time. I was a bit worried it would take a bit longer, but having the few auto pick teams is probably speeding things up a little bit, which is nice. Not to say everyone needs to go on auto pick, so I can just do what I want, but it's also good not having everyone on auto pick because if you've done mock drafts where you're the only one in there, it's like the computer just goes bang, 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 bang. You see all these players gone, and it takes you half the time to work out who's actually off the board. So having these little pauses is pretty helpful. So Klomatungi, Murray, Butcher all off the board. So a few second rowers. I think they're pretty good picks at the end of round 7. So Matt Burton at 5'8". So yep, Bulldogs legend Matt Burton. Didn't have his best game on the weekend, obviously, but yeah, he probably needs a bit more of the ball in his hands, which is hard to do when the rest of the team doesn't hang on to it. So I do like that pick as well. He's dual position, which is nice for the draft as well. So I was probably hoping to sneak him in a bit later, but that's okay. Jamal Fogarty, yeah, he was good on the weekend too. So sort of setting your halves in there with the 7-8 turn there, Matt. I don't mind that. A couple of good picks at that stage of the draft. So 6 picks to go, and Kiraz is number 8 on the list. So it might be a chance with those auto drafts. It all depends who the guys in the middle pick of round 8. Bradman Best, yeah, so I don't mind him as a pick either. So it's a good pick up there. Keep forgetting people's names. I'll just go with Pole in the Haas. Reese Robson at hooker. Yep, good get, I think, there, Lamb. So we might actually be on here for the double dogs. I think Shano's the only one that can ruin that for me. And he's gone Timoko. Jake Travojevic for Mrs. Fitler. So, yeah, good pick. So, yeah, Jacob Kiraz, welcome to the Angry Pirates. Good stuff. Where to next? So I've got hooker. I've got the fullbacks sorted. Got the second row sorted. Can you see players' stats? Nice. So how did 52 minutes, 57 for Mitch Barnett. So Ben Travojevic gone end of round 8. I like that. Great pickup. Blake Brayley at hooker. So I was just having a look at Mitchell Barnett, and I'm going to lock him into my front row. So get a front row pick in there. I think it's decent value at round 9, and we'll go from there. Who's next on the front row? There's Junior Barlow. Don't know if I really want him. Jack Bellin played some decent minutes for the Dragons. Ruben Cotter was the one I was trying to play around, so great pick up there, Shane. It's a bit hard when you're streaming, trying not to give away his strategy. I don't really know who's watching the stream, who's not, but that's okay. It's not the biggest issue in the world. Connor Tracy should be named to play this week, so could just go hard on the Bulldogs. Ewan Aitken, could come straight in for Lemuelu. Just throwing out names, seeing if anyone bites on any of them. Cam McInnes, Jeremiah Nanai off the board. So Jaden's up, round 9. So we're about almost halfway there. Just remember there's 20 in total if you count the bench. But definitely halfway through the teams. Might just have a quick look through. So it looks like Carlton Draft backline is all set. Um, so Paulo Mahas going with Jaden Campbell. So I do like that. Hey, said it's disconnected. Let's go. No, we're back. All good. Hopefully this all works. Might just be half a draft, and I might be talking to myself at this point, but that's okay. So Jack White and Selwyn Cobbo coming off the draft board. So Lane's train. So again, another one with the back line pretty well set and the second row. So maybe just got to work in the spine. Rolling Stone Rocks. So again, very backline heavy sorted. So a bit of balance from Croker's Hissos. So a few forwards, a halfback, a few backs. Paul Mahas. So yeah, mostly getting there in the full team. This is filler, a couple of centre wings and a couple of forwards to go. So Tommy Dearden, Sif Talakai coming off the board. So it looks like a few people in a very similar boat, sort of fading front rowers, especially since all the guns have been taken. So your mum's hole, another one filling up, I guess, the back line in the second row and working on the spine later. So we've got Alex Johnston, Will Penasini, Thomas Jenkins auto drafted. That's unfortunate. Tom Gilbert auto drafted, also unfortunate. But it's back to me. So I think I've got to get a 5/8 since Jaden Campbell's off the board. And my pick is still there, fairly deep, but I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to go Luke Metcalf from the Warriors. Looked pretty good on the weekend. He was probably going to be the starting 5/8 last year for the Warriors, but had that early injury. But once he sort of come back from it and could establish himself in the team, he looked set. And yeah, they started off well this year, and I think he'll kick on. So to get him at round 10, I was pretty happy. Ideally, I was actually going to target him and Jaden Campbell round 10, 11. Park Campbell on my bench, covers fullback, covers 5/8 nicely. But it was not to be. So just go back to the main view. So now I just need a front rower and a centre wing set to finish my team. So let's have a look at some centre wings, probably a bit closer. So we've got Ravalawa, Sammy, bit inconsistent. Peachy's probably playing bench hooker realistically, so I'm not going near that. Ramian Tarsi Aitken might, like I said, might be filling in for uh, what's his name? I can't think now. Lemuelu. Drew Hutchinson was probably one I was hoping would fall to me, but uh, that one's gone. So where do we go? Taruva was okay. Dylan Lucas playing in the second row. But I guess what happens once Kai Pierce Paul's up and running? Uh, you know what? Let's not stress about centre wing per se. Um, I just got Ravalawa auto drafted. Took too long. Thinking about it too much, so that's not ideal. But that's fine. He'll get binned pretty quickly at the end of this. So this is probably the part where having a strategy comes in handy. But I've just been winging it, and it hasn't quite worked out for me. That's Ben Hunt, Toby Sexton, Luke Keary off the board, so yeah, he would have been a handy sort of bench option, covers 5'8", then halfback. Morgan Smithies, yeah, nice pickup. Uh, Getting Braden Trindle in at halfback, yeah, so another sort of dual position, flexible type option. Pretty handy. Uh, so what are our options? Is that in terms of dual positions? So Jonah Pezzit's not going to play long term. Sullivan, not ideal. Aiden Caesar's probably maybe the best of the rest. There's not a lot on offer in terms of dual position. All right. So who have I missed? Taruva's off the board. Hudson Young. Tyron Peachy's off the board. Josh Curran. Yep, nice pickup. Josh King, Billy Burns auto picked. And I'm on. So I guess, yeah, the area of concern is a bit of cover in the halves sort of area. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is play Phoenix Crossland. I'll pick him. So he covers hooker and 5'8". And, he played big minutes. Even when Jack Cogger came on, he was still playing. In for the Knights, I think he sort of went to a bit more of a lock type role. It'll be interesting to see how that changes once Jaden Brayley's back up and running. But for now, we're going to take the dual position flexibility and try to use that as best we can. So Ethan Strange, probably one I forgot about because he's so low down the board, but Johnson in the Haas grabbing that 5/8 option. Very good. Hang on. So my pick against a Kai Pierce Paul just come off. Um, so let's have a quick look at halfback sort of cover because Cleary is going to have a bye at some stage. So we could go with Tanner Boyd. Um, average 50. So it looks like they're all sort of around the similar average. So what we might do is we'll take the flexibility of Aiden Caesar. He may kick goals. It sounds like Coruscant's not locked into the goal kicking necessarily. So we've got, most of we've got all of our spine covered because we've got Pappenhausen in our flex. So that's a win. So we just need a front rower and a heap of centre wing options. So let's start looking at centre wing. So we might just have to grab best available, I think, for the next few. Not overthink it too much. But still got a heap of time until then. Dylan Walker is the flex. He's like the ultimate flex. He can play every position. Nice. Actually, I do need a front rower still. Just think who's available. Max King. Do like Max King. Why not have another Bulldog? Junior Barlow still available. That's interesting. As a front rower, he's got that offload in him, and against the smaller sort of Bulldogs pack, he was scary to watch. So maybe I'll jump on a front rower first, and then I'll swing back to the centre wing. There's still some nice options available. Deep too. Maybe I don't need to stress on front row. No, I think if he's available, I'm going Max King. Talked myself into it. Although, actually, is there any dual position options? Big Nelson, Alex Twal, because we might need that bit of sort of dual position cover. Jai Arrow playing in the second row for the Bunnies. Might have talked myself out of Max King here. uh, Big Lolo, get him in just for the nostalgia. Cohen Hess, nope. Bole, Isaac Liu, that's getting pretty desperate, I think. No, not too keen on anyone down that way. Yes, this is when picks like Ruben Cotter, like I do have Mitch Barnett, so I can't complain too much. But yeah, those sort of picks come in really handy when you're starting to look at your bench covers and stuff like that. Because we've got 6 slots, so you could almost allocate one per position realistically, but if you can cover more than one, it is very helpful. So Siwa Wong off the board, Lachlan Croker's gone, Jaden Sewer, Jake Averillo. Zaya Papali'i. So round 14 seems low for him, but I guess hasn't been in the highest of forms of late. James Fisher Harris, so decent front row off the board. Ewan Aitken. Junior Barlow's just gone. what do we do? I think we're gonna back. We can get a decent second rower. I'll just quickly have a look at the second rowers on the board. Jackson Ford, Kurt Capewell, Luch. Yep, sweet. Let's do it. Max King, welcome to the front row. Awesome. So where are we up to? The end of round 14, start of round 15. Jamin Salmon off the board. So, Steve, you're stealing all me Bulldogs centre wingers that are not playing centre wing. That's right. I got Kiraz. I'm sweet on that front. Actually, is Blake Wilson available? He was super impressive. Well, he has been all preseason as well. So, another Bulldog in the team. Why not? I've only got 3. That's pretty restrained for myself. So, Katoni Staggs is gone. But I'm going to pull a Swifty. Get the man of the moment in. Terrell May, front row bench. Thanks for coming. Get him in. So I've got the front row sorted. Pretty happy playing those 3. I might chase another second row. I was hoping for like a Jamin Salmon or Ben Travojevic type that could cover centre wing as well. But that's okay. We can work with what we've got. So we'll just highlight the second row as well because we do need a bit of bench cover. And our second row centre wing. Because realistically, that's about where we're going to sort of target. If we look at fullbacks, I think all the fullbacks are gone. Yeah, so after that, well, Blake Taft maybe, not ideal, but he's a dog. He could end up on my team. But I think definitely we'll try and pick a few centre wings. But that's all we really need, I think. Yeah, so Ravalawa we won't worry about. So we'll pick another 3 centre wings, 4 centre wings, a second rower, and then just, I guess, whatever we can get. Still some good second rowers on the board too. Alright, so we've had Ramian, Tass, 12, Marnie, Sivo, Sullivan, Egan, Kickow come off the board. Tell you what, I was worried this draft was going to go a while. It's only been 45 minutes, and we're already through 16 rounds essentially, or 15 rounds. I was looking at my pick, 159. So we're into the final quarter. I think most teams are probably just filling out benches, or I guess Carlton Draft still need a front row. Shano, what does he need? Centre wing and some bench. What do we go with? Ezra Mam at 5'8". Yeah. Lanes Trains, another one that needs a front row and some halves. So there's not much left to go in the half sort of area. So hopefully the rest of the team's solid. Rolling Stone still needs a hooker and a front row and some bench. Croker's Hissos is all done, just benching it now. Paul and Maha still needs some front rowers. I think there's still a few good ones available, so definitely not the worst strategy to sit and wait on front row. Mrs. Fiddler just needs some bench. Front row for Johnson into Haas. So I guess I said there was a few good front rows available. There'll be a few teams chasing them. So Jack DeBellin, he could probably come in the front row there, but not sure what's happened there. Jaden. Needs a 5/8 as well, so not much available there, I don't think. Good luck. And my team. So centre wing and bench. So I'm hoping there's a few centre wings just sitting ready to go for me. There we are, two misses. Feel like I've missed something there. I thought you and Aiken was still on the board, but I just realised he's gone a couple of rounds ago. That's not ideal. All right, so Saab's injured. No, Braden Burns is playing reserve grade. Billy Smith. Looks like best available really is Blake Wilson. So let's get him in to our centre wing. There's Perham, no. Warbrick, not ideal. Dylan Lucas, I think we might have to have a look at if he's still available. Depends what Steve's up to. What's the timeline on Munro? Probably pick him up off waivers. It's not looking too good. Maybe this was an error. Sitting and waiting on centre wings. Because I think some of the good cheap ones have gone too, like what's his face, Salmon, Hutchinson, the guys that I've been keeping an eye on. All right, I'm back on Jackson Hastings. So I think I've got to take Dylan Lucas. Where'd he go? Lock him into my centre wing. Also covers second row too, so that's worked out all right. Like I said, a bit concerned about his game time with Kyle Pierce-Paul breathing down his neck, but it's the best we can probably do for the time being. So we'll pick, I think, two more centre wings, one to cover Ravalawa because we don't want Ravalawa in our team, and a second rower, and I think we're pretty well set. Yeah, so Shano's grabbed Blake Taff. I was thinking about if he was available last round to have a dip, but he's gone, so that saves me that stress. So I guess all these sort of mid-price options that we've looked at in Classic, like Sean Lane, Bo Fermor, Sean Bloor, still available. Obviously, we chase them for their value, but I guess, if we believe in the picks, they could be super coach relevant also. Bronson Sherry, is he going to get a run this week with Adokar out? Who knows? I've gone pretty deep there. We don't need to go that deep. So Talmalolo getting a run for the Carlton drafts. Nice. Lindsay Collins, I think, that's a decent pickup this late in the draft as a front row option. All right, just keep looking through the list because I keep forgetting the options that I'm considering. Jai Arrow gone, yep. So that's probably, I guess, the one we should have targeted a bit earlier, given his dual position, his sort of upside plan on that edge. We've also just got 3 bench spots to fill. And I guess we've only got a total of 26 picks to go. 27, I suppose, if you include the current one. But this might be a little timeout. That's fine. Yeah, as the draft just melted down. I just saw the chat. Caesar's been ruled out. Well, as long as it's not for the season, I'm okay with that. But I guess what that does sort of suggest is what's his name? Young Galvin might get a run this week, so could be very interesting for our classic teams. Oh, there we go. I don't know what happened there. Hopefully, Katrina had time to make a pick. Yep, drafted Lockie Ilias. Nice. So Tom Eisenhuth for Shano's Guns. So he was one I was tossing up in round 20 as a pick. Just, as a dual position. Looks like he's sort of trusted there at the Dragons. And I know I've got to pick centre wingers, but I'm going to grab another second rower because I think he'll go in the last couple of rounds. Brendan Piakura. Obviously unlucky with the head knock on the weekend, but I know the Bulldogs were keen on him a few years ago, and he did a little backflip and stayed at the Broncos. And I guess he's going to show the competition this year why the Dogs were so interested in investing in him a few years ago as a young fella. So I'll get him in the team. But then I think seriously, I've just got to look at centre wingers. Get everyone else out of it. And grab a couple to fill out the team. It'd be good if I could just get rid of players I didn't want to look at. That'd be nice. But it's what it is. So Big Nelson, dual position, good bench cover. Oh, I'm on, am I? Sean Kepi picked as well. So Rocco Berry, I'm going to have as a bit of a punt. I think he went all right on the weekend. And could do a bit for the Warriors this year. I guess there was a bit of chat about what's his name, Leia Tower, grabbing that spot, but Berry beat him to it. So if Tua Picky had some good job security as well, he'd be a very handy pickup. So I think if CNK goes down with injury again or it gets extended, he could be a hot commodity on the waiver wire. There's really no one at the bottom dollar, is there? Only Gagai, who probably won't go for too much longer, I would have thought, in the first grade team with Isaac Thompson being available again. Lofi Khan Pereira's gone. Sione Katoa's gone. Tanner Boyd, I think, is a good pickup at the halfback spot. I've been pretty impressed with Shano's guns, the draft picks that they've grabbed. So Tom Flegler, yep. If I sort of didn't go with these three, I was seriously thinking about Tom Flegler for my team. So that's a good pickup, Jaden. Adam Dewey auto drafted, so it could be handy in the second half of the season. A little dual position flexibility there with Jakey Granville coming off the board. I really don't like any of these centre wingers. It's either like Coates or Oates, one of those wingers that can score tries, but can also stink it up. Charlie Staines, very similar sort of profile. Reem Smith, not really. Jesse Arthurs, did he do any good in Vegas? 48. Uh, I guess realistically, I could just hang on to Ravalawa. He can score a try and break a tackle. And, we can wait for something to pop up on the waiver wire. Who's left overall? Maybe we just take whatever is left that's the best. I mean, Lemuelu's a solid pick. It's just unfortunate he got injured on the weekend and is out for a while. Kurt Capewell, rock solid second row option. Josh Papali'i, probably, more of an impact guy nowadays. Luciano back in Sydney could be worth a shout. Big Dave Clemmer. Adam Elliott's still on board. Sort of handy second row option, I would have thought. How did Liero go playing lock? I didn't look at him too closely. 44. Actually, can I do that with the SuperCoach Plus? I think I can. Get their start. Who scored the most in round one? I can't adjust it. That's not ideal. 67 for Kyle Felt. Who was that? 92. Zach Hosking. Don't know if he's got the job security to bother. I wasn't even looking at half those numbers, trying to see how many picks I've got till it's my turn. All right, I'm on. So Verrills, Randall, Papali'i, all gone. You know what? Might go the upside stash. Sean Moore, get in the team. All right, that's us done. So I guess just to recap my team. So I got Marshall King at hooker, Barnett and King in the front row, Isaiah Yeo, the Cardi Party, Jacob Preston in the second row, Nathan Cleary and Luke Metcalf in the halves, centre wing of Karaz, Ravalawa, Wilson and Dylan Lucas, Tedesco at fullback, and Pappenhausen as my flex, which I think is a bit of a flex. Having two gun fullbacks every week is going to be pretty sweet. Obviously not this week. Pappenhausen getting a 30, but that's why we start in week two. And then my bench, I've got Crossland, got May, got Sean Bloor and Piakura for second row cover. Caesar to cover the halves, along with Crossland, who can play 5'8". Rocco Berry to cover my centre wing. So if anything, I'm going to swap them around. And if I can find an upgrade for Ravalawa, I'll be doing that. Obviously, there's no free agents at the moment. There is a waiver wire until Wednesday. So for the next sort of day and a half, you can have a look at players on this list. So say, for example, Fatale Mariner gets named and you're like, oh, I'll have him in the second row. All right, you can put in a waiver claim. The first week, it's based on reverse draft order. So, Matt, you get first pick of the waivers. That's the other advantage of being last in the draft. But then after the first sort of games in round two, it'll go on the reverse ladder order. So if you finish in 10th position after round two, you'll get first crack at fixing your team the next week. So, there is some good picks still on the board. Like, if you want Hoskins for a few weeks or you think he can sort of find a permanent spot in that team, go him. For Mariner, like I said, looked really good. Like, a massive weight had been lifted from his shoulders getting out of the dogs. Jacob Little, was pretty impressive if you still need a hooker or a backup hooker. Joey Lussick, played pretty well for the Eels. Does he sort of eventually work his way into an 80-minute role? Perhaps. I could keep looking at the waivers and the free agents, but Might just have a quick look at the other teams. So cancel that. We're not really trading Ravalawa just yet. How do I see the other teams? My league, I'm guessing. Team lineups. Here we go. So we've gone through mine, the Cullen draft. So we've got Croker, Talmalolo, Palacia in the front row, Lukey, Wong, and Smithy. So, a few sort of mid range second row options, but not the worst. And a bit of cover on the bench with Kickow, Bolle, Granville. Fogarty, Trindle, Burton in the halves, Ezra Mann as well, so well set in the halves. And then, that's a gun centre wing, and that, could be the difference maker, having those high upside players playing every week, could have been the trick to it all. So I do like that draft, Matt. I'm interested to see how it goes this season. Shano, so he was one I sort of said I was impressed with a few of his picks. So Appy, Haas and Tarpany in the front row. Bit of cover on the bench is nice. Tohu, Cotter, Curran in the second row, so I like all them. Hughes, Boyd, Brooks, Dylan Walker. So the 5'8's a bit sketchy, but Brooks actually looked pretty good to be fair. Probably just been a bit harsh based on his Tigers ears. Timoko, Penasini, Tupou, Talangi, Tom Eisenhuth on the bench, Tom Travojevic and Blake Taff on the bench, and Brandon Smith into the flex. I didn't even pick that up. So nice pick up there, Shano. Another nice draft, I think. Lane's trains. So I think this was one of the auto drafted teams. So Egan, Paseka, Collins, Fafita, Carrigan, Butcher, Matto, Martin. So a lot of second rowers on the bench. So I guess with the auto draft, it literally just picks the best available. So you can end up with these lopsided benches. I guess they do provide an opportunity for trading. You could package. I mean, if you're not big on Fafita, you could try and trade Fafita for a gun in another line, something like that. Or you could go with a Carrigan and Madison combination for a gun somewhere else, perhaps. Adam Dewitt, 5'8's a bit of a concern. You need to get a 5'8, I would have thought. But Reece Walsh and Nickel Cockstad as the fullback flexed combo, I don't hate that. That's worked out all right. So Rolling Stones Rock. I can't even say that properly. So Verrills. I should go through all the teams I've started. I've committed to it. Barlow and Laurie in the front row with Fodawaker as cover. Bateman Gilbert, unfortunately injured, so that's not ideal. So Jackson Ford's okay cover. Cherry Evans and Ben Hunt's a nice little combo there in the halfback spot. Cody Walker's, okay at 5'8". Had a shocker on the weekend, but we know what he's about. Ozako, Falame, Farnsworth, Ramian Ponga at fullback and captain is nice. And Dylan Edwards, Dream Buller, Will Kennedy. So a few fullback covers there. So potentially, again, a bit of trade bait for some other teams. So I just thought I'd have a quick look at the chat. So Shano's apologising for taking Curran. That's all right. Share the love. I've got him in pretty much every other team. So I'm fine. I've got Preston. So still got a bit of the Bulldogs action. So pretty keen about that. And good fun. Thanks, Matt, as well. All good. Where are we up to at the teams? Croker's Hiss Hoss. So Robson, Phil Blake, and Uda Ikamanu in the front row. That's a decent front row. Kolomatangi, Young, Papali. Not the worst second row either. Got Tino on the bench. That's interesting. As the cover. Obviously, he's on the bye this week, I guess. Maybe you've already gone in and made those changes. Bo Fermor as well, Nanai. So pretty well set in the forwards. Walker and Luai, not the worst for draft in the halves. Lomax, Talakai, Saab. Saab is injured, I think, so hopefully you've got cover. Sivo suspended. Khan Pereira's on a bye. Seb Chris will be back, so that could be okay. And then Latrell and Tyrell Sloan at flex. So I think Tyrell Sloan is probably that sort of ideal flex play. It's a bit of rocks and diamonds, but he produced a diamond on the weekend, and the way the Dragons are looking, then maybe a few more. So Jaden the Goat has got Grant, Flegler, and Arrow in the front row again. This worked out pretty well. I was a bit concerned about the lack of depth in front row, but when you see them put together, there's some pretty decent combinations. Nickera, Murray, Ricky in the second row with Sean Lane on the bench, so some good cover there. Moses and Dylan Brown in the halves with Sean O'Sullivan covering halfback. Um, Tungo, Crichton, Best, and Taruva in the centre wing. That's a pretty good centre wing too. With Avarillo, Sully on the bench. Jaden Campbell at fullback. Obviously, once he's fit and firing, that is a great pick. I probably would have him in 5'8", but if you've got Dylan Brown, having him at fullback or even, he's the ultimate sort of flex player, I would have thought, with Xavier Savage covering at fullback. So, you know, I know there's someone that's got a few fullbacks, so maybe there's a bit of a trade on that. Mrs. Fitler, she got Damien Cook and Reed Marnie, so a nice sort of cover and starter on the hooking spot. Gerbo, Fisher Harris, Clemmer, so, some old school front rowers. McInnes, Tyron Peachy, Jack Bird, Victor Radley on the bench, so a couple of questionable dual positions there, but, like I said, it could work out. SJ and Ilias at cover for halfback. Cody Nicarima at 5'8". Meany, Mulatalo, AJ Rapana at centre wing. So Rapana playing fullback, I think that could be a pretty good pickup too. So got Addo Carr on the bench. He's not going to be injured forever, so it could be a nice play. Gutherson and Keary is the flex, so he does have some 5'8" cover as well, which is nice. Excuse me. And I think, Nicarima covers fullback, so I think pretty good coverage there as well. Johnson and Haas, so got number one pick, so got Blake Brayley, Sofa Solomona, and Kepi in the front row with RCG on the bench. Olakwatu, Katoa, and Pierce Paul, so very high upside second row, which I do like. And obviously the front rowers can cover in there if needed. Hines, Jackson Hastings, Drew Hutchinson, could play him in the centre wing, but I think he's like the ideal sort of draft player, so great pickup there, Steve. Munster, Kyle Flanagan, and Ethan Strange on the bench, so a lot of these sort of covering type players. Jamin Salmon and Burbo, so I think, this was the other one where I was thinking that's some great picks, taking my ideas. But, I guess they're good picks for a reason. AJ, so lots of flexibility in this team too, which is pretty handy for draft. And then Jordan's team, your mum's hole. Chris Randall at hooker. Wallace and Welsh in the front row. Hopgood, Sorensen, Horsburgh, so pretty strong second row with King and DeBellin covering on the bench and Ewan Aitken. So a couple of dual position options there. Toby Sexton and Dane Laurie, so might have to fix those halves considering neither of them is first choice in their team. Marzu, Watini Zalesniak, so Campbell Graham, obviously another one. You could stash him on your bench for half the season if you wanted to. There probably is the space for that. But given some of the other issues in that may be, you can use Campbell Graham to trade your way into something. Thomas Jenkins, another one not starting, so I think that was an auto draft team, clearly. And Scotty Drinkwater at fullback. Fantastic. So that's the draft. It's worked out well, just over an hour. So I guess I haven't quite worked out where I'm going to talk about the draft in the sort of video schedule for the week. But I'm just having a look. So I think I just got to you just have a captain, not a vice captain, apparently. I don't know how that works. I'll have to look into that. Maybe I can change it so there is a vice captain. But Cleary would be captain anyway, so that's fine. And I don't need to do too much with that. But we'll definitely follow along throughout the season and see how it goes. So I was just looking at the chat. So Mrs. Fiddler is actually Matt's partner. Fantastic. So Yeah, Jaden and Katrina. So that all must be part of the family there, Matt. So yeah, we'll give you guys a shout out for sure. Brilliant. So I'll be watching out for some collusion there, perhaps with some trades in between the three. But nah, that's all good. Great to get everyone involved. So yeah, it was sort of busy doing the draft and that. I can see the chat on the other app. I've got to switch between. I don't have the two screens, unfortunately. I'm not that good at YouTube just yet. So yeah. So obviously, if there is any other questions, comments, thoughts, as always, feel free to add to the comments. Obviously, if you enjoyed looking at the draft, or if even if you just enjoyed the live streaming aspect, give the video a like. Now that I've worked out how to do it, and it's not so daunting, could do some stuff like that leading up to team lists, or maybe some pre-lockout action if I've got nothing better to do on a Thursday night. I usually do like to do the pre-recorded stuff though, and do what I need to do after that. But hey, if the people want it, I'll do my best. But yeah, like I said, if you enjoy the live stream stuff or the SuperCoach stuff, give the video a like. Subscribe for all the fantasy content. It's all still happening. And other